Hello, today I'm going to be reviewing all the ACDC albums, but only the American releases, so High Voltage and TNT are out of the equation. Today we are reviewing Fly on the Wall. This album came out sometime around the 80s. The artwork is very, very, very cool. One of my absolute favorite ACDC album covers. It's very simple but very cool. Whenever I think of ACDC, I always think of this album cover because it's just that cool and iconic. Even if you're not a big fan of this album, you have to admit the artwork's pretty cool. This album's production is very, very good. All their albums have a very good production. They always have that awesome Australian sound to them, and they are an Australian almost metal band. Some argue if they're metal or rock. I believe they're hard rock. They kind of have this cool Australian sort of thing to them. It's really cool. The production of all their albums sounds the exact same. All the guitars are always high up in the mix, and they always have that cutthroat sound. Speaking of guitars, Angus and Malcolm Young do an amazing job on this album. Their guitar work is incredible, especially Angus's awesome guitar solos. But the riffs all kind of sound similar, but hey, it's ACDC, what do you expect? The drumming is rather simple, you know, anyone who doesn't even drum can drum like this guy. The bass is almost inaudible because the guitars are so much higher in the mix and the production is so thin. Brian Johnson delivers a really cool performance with this awesome, like, shrill, whine vocals that are really iconic, especially on this album. There are so many iconic songs on here that are always playing ACDC's sets all the time, sometimes even in commercials. Like, how can you forget the first track on the album? It's just the most iconic song that they have. And of course, there's some really, really great deep cuts on the album that no one really talks about, especially the ones that, you know, Brian Johnson penned. What else is there to talk about? The guitar solos are all real bluesy and kick-ass, but the riffs are all kind of similar. It's probably because Malcolm Young he forgets shit. He probably forgets he wrote the exact same riff, like, throughout the entire last album. He decides, hey, I'm going to use this riff again. It's like, hey, this is a new riff, isn't it? I'm surprised none of them call him out on it and be like, dude, this is the same riff earlier in this own song. How is this even a change? And you gotta love that funny song about balls on the album. I mean, that's just original. And of course, the themes on the album always are the themes of ACDC albums. There's always these songs about rock and roll, how rock and roll will never die, hard rock and roll, rockin' all night, for those about to rock. They just find new and inventive ways to just make a song title about rock and roll, you know? Once you get past the sheer amounts of repetition, this album is truly a masterpiece, really. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 every day of the week. It is my favorite ACDC album ever. And, I mean, a favorite. There's so many favorites of theirs, you know. So that's it. I hope you guys check out my next review, which will be completely different, something completely new. So, because the band kind of takes a turn for the worse, you know. They start to repeat themselves a little too much.